pulled up your mat, go ahead and roll it out. And we're gonna get started in child's pose. Okay. Okay, so make your way into child's pose. Settle your hips down and back towards your heels, and then just begin to rest your forehead down towards the mat. And that's the operative word, it's towards the mat. And if you find that the forehead's not touching down, let your hips lift a little bit so that you make that connection. And I'll really encourage a soft bend at your elbows so that that soft bend can sort of cascade down to the fingertips, up through the arm bones, into the whole rest of your body, so that things can become soft. Okay, this pose should not feel arduous. It shouldn't feel like there's any sort of bracing for impact of what's to come. But if those things are showing up for you, just start to notice your breath so that you can follow that instead. Okay, less distractions of what's going on around you, and then more of this internal awareness. We're gonna move and breathe together, though you're not gonna be seeing everyone and hearing everyone as we move and breathe. Please feel free to make textures, tones, vibrations, those types of qualities with your breath so that you can really exaggerate your experience here. Okay, so it might sound like a ha, or maybe a or okay, any way that you would like to breathe, and start that relationship now. Nice. All right, and then from here, just start to rock your forehead from side to side on the mat, taking a moment to enliven the body here with a gentle massage across your brow. And if it feels nice to start to crawl your fingers forward, go ahead and reach them forward. You're welcome to pick up your head if that feels nice. Maybe put one cheekbone down, feel a stretch, a twist in the neck, or maybe the opposite one as well. And all the while still being aware of how you are breathing. Okay, if your arms aren't already out in front of you, start to walk them forward and then walk them together until they meet in an essential prayer position. You can crisscross at your thumbs and then just start to bend your elbows so that now the palms that are pressed, they come towards the back of your head. A little stretch for the undercarriage of your arms across the lats and the triceps. Okay, on your inhale, get big across the ribs. On your exhale, try to kiss your left armpit down towards the mat to feel a deeper stretch. Inhale back up through the center. And then exhale, kiss your right armpit down, a little bit of a deeper stretch there. Okay, inhale through the center, walk your hands back forward, and then start to make your way into your first tabletop, okay? Take your time to get there. There's no rush for you to follow my words. So as you're moving, really follow how your breath is. So if your breath is slow and controlled, your body's movement is going to be the same way. So there's nothing structured about this just yet. So move in a way that feels really guided by the feeling. So what feels good in your spine? Maybe it's a figure 8, kind of big, broad circles with the ribs. Okay, and then maybe it's a dipping of your hips down to one heel so you can feel the glutes stretch. And then passing back through center and possibly going to the other side. Okay, again, there's no structure that is having to live in your body right now. So just take a second there. A few more moments to breathe. Nice. And then find yourself in a neutral tabletop. Pull your belly in so that you have more of a flat back instead of a cow or a cat. And we'll move into those cows and cats together. So on your inhale, lift your chin and your tailbone like they'd meet back behind you. Really get big through the bottom ribs. And then exhale, curl everything in. Chin to chest, pubic bone towards navel, pike up through the spine. Inhale, lift your chin, lift your tailbone. And exhale, curl in as you push the floor away. Okay, move through those undulations of your spine, taking yourself through your cow and cat tilts at your own breath, your own pace, your own movement. Nice. All right, and then just begin to pause again. Find another flat back so that we're neutral within our tabletop. Good. From here, start to walk your hands back and stand up on top of your knees. So once you're standing on top of your knees, look down, just be sure that they're hips width distance apart. You might have to draw them in a little bit more. If you place 2 fists right in between your knees, that's a great way to measure that. Okay, so stand up nice and tall, give your butt a little squeeze, almost like you had a nice shiny little belt buckle you're trying to show off. You want to press the pelvis a little bit forward. Now place your palms at your low back. So the fingertips are going to graze the very top portion of your glutes. So we're not palming the butt, a little bit higher. Okay, if that's not open enough for you in the chest, it's okay for you to allow the shoulders to roll back as you push the hips forward. Okay, just a gentle camel to start. We're not going to go deep inside of it. So think about lengthening, chin away from chest. Squeeze your elbows together behind you like Velcro, and then maybe lift your gaze up. Nice, and then come back into a neutral spine. Place your hands down onto the floor, curl your toes under, send your hips high, listen carefully, walk your hands back towards your feet, and find yourself at the back of your mat in a forward fold. Okay, so at the back of your mat there, hang heavy like a Raggedy Ann or Andal. It's all right if you have a hips width distance or something a little bit wider. Again, nothing really structured just yet, so make it feel nice. Maybe grabbing for your opposite elbows and swaying your body. Letting your head bob in a yes gesture or a no gesture. And if you've never tried fluttering your lips, a might feel nice. Good. And then just release your arms if you do have a grip there. Measure out your feet hips width distance now so that we have a good solid structure. Again, those 2 fists right between the arches. Okay, inhale for a half lift. Bring your hands to your shins or your thighs, and then pull your chin away from your chest. If you can imagine like you were wearing a neck brace, that's the idea here. Sometimes the tendency is to reach the gaze forward, but drop the chin a little bit and then pull it away from collarbones. Take an inhale, roll the weight into your toes so that your hip bones stack. And then exhale, forward fold, drop it down, completely weighted and heavy. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Good, and then pull your belly in, giving it really good support. And then just extend your arms back behind you, your palms facing down, and spread out your fingers really wide. If this is too much for the backs of your hamstrings, a little soft bend at your knees can help to leverage a little bit more strength rather than a strain. Good. From here, if you can clasp your hands behind you, go ahead and interlace all fingers. If you can't, place your hands at your low back, just like we did in that first little camel pose. Either choice that you made, take an inhale, bend your knees, drop your seat, inhale, lift up your chest. And if you do have your interlaced grip, start to punch your knuckles down to the floor and try to spread across your breastbone. Look up towards the ceiling, keep your breath fluid. Keeping your bent knees, fold forward on an exhale, forward fold. Okay, and maybe this interlaced grip starts to sway the shoulders a little bit more open. Again, a bobbing sensation. Release your arms back down to the mat, please. Inhale, half lift, chin away from chest, again like you're wearing that neck brace. And exhale, forward fold. Walk your hands all the way forward, please, finding yourself in your first upper push-up plank. So pull your belly in, spread your fingers wide, and press the floor away from you. We're trying to stack the arm bones the best that we can, so you might hinge forward and back from the bridge of your toes until you notice that they are stacked. Okay, point your tailbone towards your heels and pull your pubic bone towards your belly button. So you're not poking up your butt to the ceiling, you have a really good supported lumbar spine. Okay, we're gonna take ourselves through the flow. So take an inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, bend your elbows back, graze against the ribs. Inhale, up dog, straighten your arms, lift your chest, point your toes. Suspend your body from your hands and your feet so that the kneecaps begin to float. Then on your exhale, curl your toes under, press the mat away, hips up and back, downward facing dog. All right, finding the structure of down dog here, separating your feet, hips width distance, and try to sink your heels down and back, but they don't have to touch the floor, it's just a direction. Look forward at your hands, ensuring that they're shoulder width distance. Okay, it's about 6 inches that could fit right in between your hands. Then drop your head heavy, press your chest toward your thighs, and take an inhale to lift your sit bones high, and then exhale to drop your head a little bit heavier. Nice. Okay, from here, inhale, extend your right leg long behind you. Kick your toes down as you kick your heel back so that you have this sensation of length coming out of your hip joint. Push the floor away, use the strength of your arms, and then inhale, lift up even taller. Exhale, roll open and bend at your knee. You're welcome to roll around at your ankle as well. Taking a moment there to really find an open quality through the hip joint, the knee, the ankle, a spread through the toes. Sometimes we get into these patterns, especially in familiar postures and movements. If that is you, maybe instead of just going in those same patterns, it's like you could write someone's name in the air with your toes. Maybe you write your intention in one word. Maybe it's power, maybe it's strength. Maybe it's something like softness or surrender. Take an inhale, lengthen out your leg long behind you, and then exhale, kiss your toes back down onto the mat. Nice. Inhale, extend your left leg long behind you. Okay, again, we're trying to work with a lot of length here. So as you roll your left hip a little down, kick your heel back, spread your fingers wide and push the floor more away. Take your inhale, lift up tall with your leg, and then exhale, peel open on this side. So it should feel like this giant yawn that happens on the whole left side body. Okay, not falling into any sort of trap where you feel like you have to do the same things that you did on the opposite side. Allowing your breath to still come in and out. Nice. Good, take another breath there, another moment. Good, lengthen your leg long behind you, and then exhale, kiss your toes down. Nice. All right, bend your knees a whole lot. Look forward, walk or float to the top of your mat. Nice, and then when you arrive, separate your feet hips width distance. Inhale for your half lift, chin away from chest, really firm belly. Exhale, collapse, forward fold. Nice, inhale, stand up into a mountain pose, please. And then when you arrive there, it's an extended mountain pose. So keep your arms reaching skyward as you root your heels down into the floor. Maybe rocking yourself forward and back a few times, maybe side to side so that you start to pour the weight down evenly and you're not playing favoritism with either foot. Pull up onto your kneecap so it's like you could pull them all the way up to kiss your hip bones. And then once your attention, your awareness is around the hips, drop your tailbone, pull your navel in away from that drop, and then allow the shoulder blades to soften down. Good, and keeping your legs super firm. Take an inhale, reach up, look up, reach back, gentle back bend to begin. And then exhale, forward fold, let it all go. Okay, it's gonna be like a wave-like motion here. So inhale, sweep your arms forward, up and back. Find yourself into a back bend to a degree that feels supported. And then your exhale tells you when to fold forward and down. Take it about 3 or 4 more times on your own, so that here you're creating new set lengths on the front side and the back side of your body, something that builds a little bit of heat and flexibility for your spine as we begin to move throughout the rest of class. Eyes open or eyes closed, completely a choice of your own. I encourage you, if it's scary for you to possibly keep the eyes closed, try it for a second or two. Okay, and then eventually you might build yourself up to closing them for maybe a minute, maybe two. All right, if you haven't already made it there, come back into your forward fold. Inhale, half lift, long spine. And then exhale, hands down, please. Step your feet back and travel through your flow. When you lower down, hug your elbows into the ribs. Inhale, up dog, chin away from chest. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, kick your right leg long behind you. Get really lengthened as you push the floor away. On your exhale, place your foot in between your hands. Okay, once you get your foot in between the hands, spin your back heel onto the floor and then cartwheel open into a warrior two. Okay, the tendency for warrior two is to take up space along stance, which is bueno, really, really good. But in this one, we're gonna do something a little bit different. So try to keep your stance slightly short. And if it is super, super long, you can walk your back foot in just a little bit. I'd say about like 4 inches. Nice, because we're gonna make up that distance here. Soften the shoulders, extend through your arms, and sit really low inside of your lunge. On your next inhale, try to hoist up your right heel. But as you do that and you perch onto the bridge of your toes, try not to lift your hips high along with it. Sit a little bit lower into your lunge and lift your heel as high as it will go for your body. Little bits of movement here can make a big difference, and you might be feeling it in your breath. So smooth in and out through the nose. Maybe close the eyes, last moment here. Good, drop your heel down, take an inhale, reach wide. And then exhale, cartwheel your hands down, send your leg back and travel through your flow. Making space in up dog. And then exhale to down dog. Nice. Left side together, inhale, kick your left leg long and back behind you. On your exhale, bring it through in between your hands. Spin your back heel down, cartwheel your chest and arms up, warrior two. And again, not following your body's intuition just yet of making it a long and wide stance of warrior two. Because again, when we lift the heel on your front left leg, that's gonna make up the distance. Okay, so sit low within your hips, keep the shoulders soft. And now try to lift up your front left heel and perch at the bridge of your toes. Each of your feet have 33 joints. They are very strong, supported with all these little joints here. What we're trying to do is create a really good foundation so that we're able to breathe inside of the poses, structure of the feet by the support of the breath. Okay, sit a little bit lower, lift your heel a little bit higher. Nice, Bam. Good, drop your heel down, inhale, reach wide. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down, catch the mat, send your leg back and travel through a flow. We do one breath, one movements. So here is your opportunity to move through this pose on your own. So once on the right side, warrior two, maybe lift the front heel if that feels good to you. Okay, if it's something that's not vibing within your body, that's okay if you take it out. And then once you're complete on that right side, you're gonna flow into your left side. Okay, as you breathe and move, it can be a simple breath in, find a shape, and then a breath out, you find another. Nice. And then notice if as you flow, how do you respond to your body's movement differently than if you were in a class full of bodies? Can you still show up for yourself? Honor the decision that you made to be here for 1 hour. Good. Wherever you are, take a moment, exhale the breath out. Good, big breath in. And exhale. Nice, we're just gonna add on to that. So back and down dog. Inhale, extend your right leg long behind you. On your exhale, so cute, Juliana, your puppy. Bring it through in between your hands. Come up, warrior two. Remember to keep your stance a little bit shorter And then that's where you can start to work on the strength of your feet. Lift your front heel and then sink into your body's lunge. Good. A moment to reach wide within your arms. Okay, listen carefully. Drop your front heel back into warrior two. This next one's a simultaneous action. So spin on the bridge of your back toes. Sweep your left arm forward, coming into a high lunge. Now you might need to widen the stance. Crawl your right foot over to the right, so that instead of standing on one straight line, you have that railroad track effect for really good support. Lift up your back heel. So instead of it searching for the mat behind you, you lunge it forward. So it's essentially you being in the front row of your own posture. Soften out the shoulders so that from the waistband to fingertips, you're still in mountain. Good. So now we get to strengthen the arch of your back foot. Get a little bit more strength in that right quad, sit a little bit lower. Inhale, reach up, reach back. And then exhale, hands come down. Send your leg back, and then you travel through your flow. Nice. Okay, let's work through it on the left side together. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, sweep it through between your hands. Spin your back heel down, cartwheel your body open, find your warrior two. Allowing yourself to keep that short stance, and yeah, you go lift up your front heel. Nice, Kate. Good, sit a little bit lower. So if you did lift up your front heel, but you lifted your hips, sit down. And it's almost like you're trying to squeeze your sit bones in towards your pelvic floor. Good, drop your front heel. Body knows where the brain's going here. So spin on the back arch of your foot, come into your high lunge. The right arm sweeps forward as your arms begin to frame your face. Very nice. Take a little hop, over to the left if you need to, so that you have that structure behind or beneath you that's really good and supportive. Lift your front heel high so that you can lunge more forward. Pull up onto your right quad, so it's like the back of your knee wants to kiss up towards the ceiling, or if you're outside, towards the sky. Good, keep your lunge low. Inhale, reach up, reach back. You got it, Leslie. And then exhale, hands go down. Send your leg back and travel through your flow. Second, one breath, one movement. Please take yourself through warrior two, spinning into your high lunge, right side once and left side once. Good, and if this is unfamiliar territory to you, maybe you've never found a warrior two with lifting up the front heel, try it. And especially if you keep falling or wobbling, all the more reason to try, okay? Because what we practice is what we're gonna become better at. So not only the things that we do with our body, but it's the way that we speak to ourselves inside of our two ears. Okay, so notice if the practice of you speaking to yourself as you're moving is of frustration, okay? Can it be a little bit more compassionate for the moments that you may fall out, so that you can come back in, give it a try, and then you leave room for surprise. Nice. Good. If you ever need rest, you've got it in child's pose. That's why we begin there, so that you have a moment to soften and relax, catch the breath if you need it. And everyone's completing that left side. Let's take a breath together. Empty, empty, empty. Good, big breath in. And exhale. Very nice. Bend your knees a lot. Look forward, walk or float to the top of your mat. Nice. Hanging in your forward fold. Take an inhale, half lift, long spine. And exhale, forward fold, let it go. Good. Keep your feet at hips width distance apart, please. And then inhale, sit your hips low, raise your arms high, coming into your first chair pose. As you do, you can gaze down towards your knees and shift the energy back to your heels. So you see your toes sort of fanning out past the knees. Okay, and if they're bowing into the center or out to the sides, how can you manage to press your feet down more evenly so that the structure of them is solid? You're using the inner and outer thighs equally. Extend through your fingertips, but soften through your shoulders. And then possibly close your eyes. Just taking that moment to really envelop strength across the downstairs of your body and a little levity across the upstairs. Good, exhale, sit a little lower. Inhale, chest up a little higher. And exhale, forward fold, let it go. Let your head bobble, your chest and spine sway. Nice, inhale, sit your hips low, raise your arms high, right back into your chair pose. Okay, we've been working with the strength of our feet, the arches of the feet. So here, we're gonna get the same thing, okay? So I'll back up so you can see if you need to. If not, just follow my words. Take an inhale, chest up, fingers reach. On your exhale, sweep your arms back, lift your heels high, and pull your collarbones away from your kneecaps. Good, it's okay if you have to fall out of it a little bit to come back in. Good, exhale, heels down, inhale, chest up, back to that regular chair. Exhale, sweep your arms back, inhale, chest forward, lift your heels and try to perch yourself at the bridge of your toes. Good, exhale, heels down, inhale, arms reach up. For good measure, arms go back, lift up your heels and start to perch and then pull your belly in. Hold it here if you can for 3. Keep breathing, 2. And 1. Back into your chair's pose, heels down, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, let it go. Okay, so breathe in a way that feels good so you can totally release all the work that you did from tips of toes, through the quads, all the way up through your fingers. Nice. Good, and then separate your feet just slightly wider than they are now. They don't have to be the width of the mat, but just a little bit wider. Turn your toes in, so you've got this pigeon-toed stance rather than you do parallel or even duck foot, okay? So toes in, and then place your left hand down, maybe bend your left knee, and then swing your right arm up with a big inhale so you can extend into a twist. Okay, squeeze your right leg as straight as it will go and try to kick your right hip backwards so you can extend and stretch across the hip. Maybe half bind, drop your right arm behind your back, search for your inner left hip crease. Okay, you're welcome to stay here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, maybe you bring your left hand to grab onto your right ankle and then you bend to pull yourself deeper into a twist. Okay, last option is a full bind. Left arm sneaks under your legs, wraps around your left thigh to grab for your top fingers. Good, release the bind if you have it. Tee out your arms first. And then exhale, come back through the center and switch. So it's right hand down, bend your right knee. Inhale, left arm comes up, find your twist. Okay, so super sassy in your hips. You want to drop into your right one and squeeze the left leg straight. If it's not going straight or maybe it's close to it, separate the stance of your feet a little bit wider. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to stay on your mat. You could go wider than your mat. Okay, go for that half bind if you'd like to. Drop left arm behind your back. Maybe you grab onto that left ankle with your right hand or work yourself into your full bind. Nice, Marika. Beautiful. Be mindful of how you breathe inside of it. I know that the lungs don't expand so much when you're in a twist, but your exhales are super empty. Okay, release the bind if you have a bind. Tee out first. And then exhale, hands go down, forward fold. Inhale, half lift on this wider base. Good. Exhale, hands to the mat, please. Step your feet back and pause. So what you're gonna do is find yourself into a plank pose, but still with that wide base of your feet. So if your feet came back to hips width, draw them towards the outer edges of your mat. Okay, and if that made your hips lift up to the ceiling, shift your shoulders over your wrist so that again, you're stacked. Okay, bring your left hand right underneath your face. Right hand to your low back, palm faces up for a one-arm military push-up plank. You are welcome. We are not going to be doing the push-up. So the best that you're able to push the floor away so you don't sink into your shoulder. Roll your right hip down so that you get your body on straight, and then squeeze your legs more strong. You've got 3. Good work. 2. And 1. Right hand down. Take a second. Breathe. Nice. Opposite side, right hand down. Left hand to your low back. The palm faces up. And then I could have said it on the other side, but you might have surprised yourself that you kept both of your legs straight. But if you want to, you can drop your knees down onto the floor, a little added support there. Okay, this time it's left hip down to the floor. Push the floor away. Really good, Melanie. You've got 3. Chin away from chest. 2. Good, Rachel. And 1. Bring your left hand down. Feet back at your hips with distance. Bend your elbows with the exhale. Travel through your flow. Inhale, big breath. And exhale back into your downward facing dog. Let's find a breath together. Empty, empty lungs. Big breath in. And exhale. Last portion that we get to build on so you can flow on your own with. Inhale, right leg high, please. Exhale, bring your foot through in between your hands. Back heel down, cartwheel open, find your warrior 2. Keep your short stance if you'd like to lift your front heel. If that's something that's not working for you, that's fine. You don't have to take it, but you can honor yourself, whatever choice you make. Good, then drop your front heel, spin on the back toes, lift the back heel, high lunge. Good, and once you find your high lunge, take a second there to honor a stance that gives you the most support. Clasp your hands above you. As you interlace your fingers, just release the index fingers and cross the thumbs. It's kind of like a Charlie's Angels gun. Take an inhale, reach up really tall. Listen carefully. Exhale, bend both of your knees, and then kick yourself forward, balancing stick. Okay, as you reach your fingers forward, kick your left leg back. If the bottom leg has to have a little micro bend in it for help and support, let it micro bend. Give all that length to your left leg kicking back behind you. Okay, and just like we tried to roll the hip down in that military push-up plank, do the same here. Left hip a little bit more down. Good, you've got 3. We're gonna go back into your high lunge. 2. Good, bend the front knee, kiss your back toes to the back. Inhale, reach up, reach back. Good, exhale, hands go down. Frame the foot, send your leg back and flow. Okay, so working up towards the balance. We found it in Warrior 2 with the lifted heel, high lunge with the back heel, and then we finish it off with that finding balancing stick. Okay, let's go on the left side. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, bring your foot through. Okay, back heel onto the floor. Cartwheel open, Warrior 2 pose, please. Nice, lift your front heel if you'd like to. That was awesome. You sink a little bit lower into your hips so that you're allowing the heel to lift and strengthen your foot. Good, drop your front heel, spin on the back toes, lift the back heel, and find yourself in that high lunge. Okay, so now the arms frame your face, all toes point forward. Clasp your hands above you, create your steeple grip, maybe even the non-dominant grip. It can feel like you're holding someone else's hands, but sometimes that feels nice, especially in a time like this. Okay, squeeze it tight. Inhale, reach up really tall. Exhale, bend both knees and then launch yourself forward, kicking yourself into your balancing stick. Good. And if it's wobbly getting there, welcome the wobbles. Okay, stumbles and fumbles are knowledge waiting to happen. Okay, this is how you learn. Roll your right hip down and suck your belly in. Give all the length to your back leg, kicking behind you, and squeeze your palms more together. You've got 3, keep breathing, good, 2. 1, back into that high lunge, back toes kiss down, inhale, maybe back bend, reach back. And exhale, hands go down, catch the floor, send your leg back and flow. This is the final time that you're gonna be flowing on your own. So you're gonna take Warrior 2, spinning into your high lunge, and then launching yourself forward in your balancing stick. Okay, so right side, left side. If you want to lift your heel in warrior two, you're welcome to do so. You can also keep it rooted. All right, and if you're working towards that balancing stick, when you hop forward, maybe you sort of drag your toes across the mat for added support, and then one day you teeter-totter forward. Okay, like it says, one breath, one movement, you match the pace of your body. If there's something extra that feels good in the poses to you, you can stay a little longer with a few more breaths. Okay, and yoga isn't about how the postures look. So if you are starting to judge yourself on how good you're balancing today, or what you might look like on your mat, how instead can you bring yourself back to the breathing? The inhale's really deep, swelling in through the lungs, and your exhale is completely empty. Nice. Okay, and then again, you ask yourself, how do I show up here differently than I would if I were in a room full of bodies? Try not to pop off the mat for a snack. Finding yourself in rest, either in down dog or child's pose. Empty your lungs if you're able. Shh. Big breath in. And exhale. Nice. All right, from your down dog, inhale, raise your right leg high, please. On your exhale, bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Spin your back heel to the floor. Inhale, left arm up, coming into your side angle pose. Use your bottom arm like a lever to press against your knee so you can feel a deeper stretch in your inner right thigh. Maybe tenting up onto your bottom fingers to give you more of that levity across the chest. Okay, maybe you found a bind earlier. If you didn't, you can find one here. Drop your left arm behind your back, palm faces out. Search for your right hip crease. If your chest stays open, then you can swing right arm underneath you, kind of like a low five with the palm facing back. And then you reach for your top hand. If you got it, pull your top arm straight and roll your chest open. If not, you can stay in the half bind or inside of that side angle. Good. Your gaze goes wherever it's helpful. So if it's too arduous for you to look up, you can go and look wherever you need to. Good. Release your bind if you are in one. Tee your arms back out, side angle. Nice. And then exhale, bring your left hand down and your left knee down. But keep your back left toes tucked under. And then swing your right arm open. So here we are in a supported revolved side angle. Okay, it's important that you keep your back knee down and the back toes tucked because we're going somewhere fun with this. Okay, keeping your arms teed out, do the best that you can. Hoist up your chest to stack it over your hips as you reach your fingertips wide, keeping your twist in your spine. Really nice. Good, and then we're gonna use your back leg for strength to come up. So push your toes down, squeeze your back leg straight, high lunge twist. Awesome, really good. From there, press your palms together at the center of your chest and then lean forward, hook your elbow across your thigh, and then you roll open for the twist here. If you need to, drop your back knee down to give you your support. And then you have options if you want, fly away, right arm up, left arm goes down, and then possibly working into your bind. Nice. All right, and if you made the choice to keep your back leg straight and you're like, ooh, bad choice, then drop your back knee down. Awesome, really, really good. If you are in that bind, start to release it with all the control you can muster. Come into your high lunge. So you unravel, find yourself into your high lunge. Good, and then this is the last balancing that we're gonna do here. So bend into both of your knees, kick yourself forward, and then we work into tree. Okay, so maybe The bottom foot is finding itself toes touching the floor for more support. Possibly your foot is inside of your calf, or you can use your hands and bring it all the way up to your thigh. Arms up above your head if you haven't already. Nice, growing your branches if you want to. You can clasp your hands again, that steeple grip. And then here's an extra added stretch if you'd like. Reach your arms up, tall, tall, tall. And then start to bend your fingers over towards the, let's see, right side or left side. So you're finding yourself in a half moon shape as you reach up and over. Nice. All right, chin away from chest, wearing that neck brace still. Good, come back into the center. Palms press at center of chest, and then drop your foot down. Find yourself standing. Take a second, wiggle out the legs, the arms, maybe flutter out your lips. Good. Inhale, sweep up, sweep back, find a back bend. And then exhale, spill forward, forward, fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, forward fold. Walk your feet back, travel through a flow. Good. All right, this is not a one breath, one movement. You don't have to remember all those things. They'll guide you through the left side. Okay, inhale, left leg high. Exhale, place your foot outside of your left hand. Spin your back heel down, raise your right arm up, coming into your side angle. Really nice. All right, so maybe where your fingers meet the palm of your hand, you might tent up onto the hand there. Okay, it's also all right if you have your whole palm down, but use the bottom arm for the purpose to peel your thigh more open. Stay here if you'd like to, or go into a half bind, drop the right arm behind your back, palm facing out. Good, and if your chest stays open, reach the bottom arm underneath your thigh and try to grab onto your fingers. And if that X hook is really accessible for you, one day your bottom hand is going to reach for your top wrist. Nice, Garima. I'm so glad your girls made it. Awesome. If you're in your bind, take one more breath, peel your chest open. And then exhale to peel your arms out, finding your side angle first. Good. Exhale, right hand down, right knee goes down. Remember to keep your back toes tucked. And then swing your left arm open, finding that low supported revolve side angle. Try to swing right shoulder a bit more under you as you peel your left armpit open. Good. And it's like you're scissoring your inner thighs together because that's going to give you the strength to hoist up. So keep your legs as they are. Hoist your chest up until it stacks over your waistband. Very nice. Okay, your gaze can go back towards that left hand. Beautiful. So your back knee is still down for now. Awesome. Yep. Stack your spine, Melanie. Yeah, so hoist up your chest, Melanie. Good. Now squeeze your back leg straight. Hoist up, high lunge twist. Good. So back leg, it goes straight, but the front knee is staying bent. Now press your palms together at the center of your chest. Good. Lean forward and hook your elbow across that left thigh. Use it as leverage. Really get it nestled in there, close to the armpit. And push top hand into bottom hand, staying here if you'd like to. If you're really wobbly, then you can drop your back knee down for support. Okay, fly away if you want, left arm up. Okay, right arm goes down. Good, and if the bind doesn't happen today, it doesn't mean that it won't ever happen. But if you stop trying, that's a sure way to it not happen. Okay, take a second. Good, if you are in that bind, remember where the body is going now. Start to unravel slowly. Come into your high lunge. It might be a wobbly moment, that's fine. Take an inhale, reach up, and then bend both legs. Kick yourself into your tree. Nice. As you find yourself with your bottom foot, it can either find the floor for more support, or maybe you bring it into your calf or all the way up into your thigh. Good, so standing on your left leg, firm up onto your quad, and as you push your foot into your leg, you push your leg right back into your foot. Maybe your arms are reaching up into your tree to grow big and long through the side body. And if you want that stretch, clasp your hands above you, steeple grip with your hands. Inhale, reach up, 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 up. And then tip your fingers over towards the right as you bump your hips over towards the left. So it's like a half moon shape, but standing on one foot. And if you're like, yeah, right, Amy, that's too much, then you can come back up tall. Nice. Good. Release your hands down at the center. Point your knee forward, drop your foot down. Take a second again and wiggle out the legs, the arms. Inhale, sweep up, sweep back, back bend. And exhale, spill forward and down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down, walk your feet back, rinse it out through a flow. Nice, and time to feel a little bit more grounded, a little closer to the floor than we have been for the better part of an hour. So let's find half pigeon. Inhale, raise your right leg high. Exhale, bend your knee, sweep it towards your right wrist. Extend your left leg long. You might have to scoot that leg further behind you so your pelvis doesn't rest onto your right heel. Good. Take an inhale, push the floor away, long spine. And then exhale, crawl your hands forward, drop your chest down. And if your forehead can touch the mat, awesome. If not, also awesome. You can stack the forearms, make a little pillow there, or stack your fist for a little bit more elevation. Good, so your right knee points more out to the right. If I were standing directly above you, I'd see a sliver of your knee peeking out. Good, especially in a time like this where we are mostly stuck inside of our homes, within our four walls. Maybe not too many places to go depending on where you live. But it can be challenging for the body. All of that energy begins to swell around within the muscles and the joints. So here, as we've worked a little bit of vigor into the body, a little bit of balancing to help get those wiggles out, essentially. Here we get to relish in that work and rest. Feel the weight of our body on the mat as the floor is supporting us. And although you might be alone, maybe practicing with one or two other people, know that there are plenty of other bodies breathing and moving with you. Larger movements have gone away. So if you are craving those large movements, follow the breath. Lungs get real big. And as you exhale, you sink a little further. Maybe an HM. Or a gentle fluttering of your lips. Good, a breath together, empty your lungs. Big breath in. And exhale. Okay, over the course of the next few cycles of breath, start to make your exit. Use your hands to place themselves under shoulders, lift your chest. Tuck your back toes under for help so you can swing your right leg back behind you. Maybe roll open at the hip if that feels good. Okay, you can work through your flow or you can go into your left side. Either way, we'll be meeting in your left side half pigeon. Okay. So when you choose to draw that knee forward, please bring it more towards the left rather than the knee pointing straight forward. That way we get a good angle at the hip for a nice stretch. Extend the back leg straight. You can peek back behind you, make sure it's long. Sometimes it likes to bow out towards the right. Swing it back in towards center. Good. And bow forward. It's all right if this side doesn't show up like the opposite side. You might have to give yourself more elevation, a stack of forearms or your fists. Maybe you can go a little bit further in this one. But either way, close your eyes. Melt your face down. And breathe. The more that you can focus on your exhales, the more you are truly activating parasympathetic nervous system, allowing you for more rest and digest or rest and relax. Same surrender-like quality that we found in your first child's pose. All right, if you begin to fidget, notice if you can start to still the places that want to move, and then bring your attention back to your breath. The breath will never stop moving, it's always going. And the moment that you want to exit the pose, you want to crawl out of your skin, that is typically the moment where the pose just begins. Good, a breath together, empty, empty, empty. Shh. Big breath in. And exhale. You're gonna make your way at your own time and pace. Push yourself up with the use of your arms, swing your left leg back, and please travel through your final flow. Okay, rinsing it out, you bend the elbows lower down, inhale to your up dog, and exhale to your down dog. When you get to down dog, move it around a little bit so that you can feel more space across the body, and maybe even more tightness across the body where it wasn't before. But just take a little bit of an inquiry. Okay, bending the knees, little opposition with petals of the ankles. Maybe bob your head forward and back. Good, then drop your knees onto the floor, please. Stand up tall atop them so we can work ourselves into a camel pose. So in the beginning of class, we did a very gentle one without a deep back bend. But now we're gonna go a little bit further because the body is quite warmed up. Okay, so bring your hands to your low back. Squeeze your elbows behind you. Remember that shiny belt buckle? You wanna press it forward, so squeeze your butt a bit. Okay, lift up the chest, lift up your gaze, and then start to drop your head back as you keep pushing your hips forward. If your breath is supporting you, you've not completely clenched it, you can drop your hands down to your feet. One at a time, fingers inside, thumbs in the outside. Okay, and if you go on that hunt and you can't find your feet, please don't suspend your body with your arms just dangling. Make a choice. Either hands are at your low back or they are on your heels. Nice. Seal the lips, breathe through your nose so that from the jaw to your collarbones, you get a good stretch. Make your way up slowly, use your core, use your hands at your low back for support and help. Good, and then drop your hips to your heels for a moment in hero's pose. If coming seated hips to heels is not the best for your joints, you're welcome to sit cross-legged. Either way, you make a choice that works for you. Palms face up into your lap, a little curl of your fingers, tuck your chin and close your eyes. And adopt a sense of reverence and appreciation for all that is. The last better portion of an hour of moving your body and breathing. Seemingly alone, but very much together. Appreciate your eyes that can see, even though the lids are closed and it's dark now. You know that when you open them, there's textures, there's colors, there's shapes, images of familiarity, images that are new. Appreciating the sense of your smell, whether it's something you quite enjoy or it's something that's not so great. Okay. The ears that hear, whether it's something that you are told to do that you might not want to, or something that is caring and loving. And then the weight of your body. Even though it might not be your ideal number, feel rooted in this moment, grounded, appreciative of what you have, rather than focusing on what you don't have. Empty your lungs. Take a big breath in. And exhale. Good. Flutter open your eyes. You can bring your hands to your sides. Kick your legs to one side, swing them through, or crisscross at the ankles. But either way, you're going to come seated. Extend your legs straight out in front of you. Squeeze them together and pull your toes to point toward your nose. Good. If you haven't already got the good stuff out from under you, you can walk side to side so you sit right on the sit bones. Inhale, sweep your arms sideways and up, big breath. And then exhale, fold forward. Okay, if your hands don't grab for your feet, you can grab for your shins or your ankles. Okay, it can be really about the passivity of the stretch, working with time, breath, and gravity. But if you'd like it to be more active and you have a grip at your feet, bend the elbows, use the strength of biceps, and try to pull your armpits away from your shoulders, back towards your hips. Use your inhales to get long and your exhales to fold further. Slowly uncurl, let your arms drag along the sides of your legs as you come into a seated position. Very nice. If you aren't seated in the center of your mat, scoot yourself there. Typically, you'll have to scoot forward a bit. Okay. So bend your knees, place your feet to the floor, comfortable distance, about hips width, and then reach your arms forward, please. It's almost like you're holding a tray. Okay, tuck your belly in. You're gonna roll from the bottom of your spine all the way up to the base of your skull. So pull your belly in and start your slow roll. Okay, your eyes can be closed. That way you take yourself on your journey one vertebrae at a time as you roll onto the floor. When you arrive and your head lands last, hug your knees into your chest, please. Give yourself a really good squeeze, maybe rocking side to side a bit. Okay, you can flutter out your lips here. Good, and then press the feet together for a bound butterfly. Interlace your fingers around the outer edges of your feet. And then pull your heels either towards the groin, towards your navel, or maybe introducing toes towards nose. Yeah, you can still rock side to side if that feels nice. And if you are called early to go into your happy baby, go for it. Separate the feet. Peel your feet to face up, but pull your hands down with the strength of your arms. Doing the best that you can to keep your shoulder blades plugged down as well as your whole spine. So roll the sacrum flat. Good, and releasing any tension in the jaw or the throat. Start to stick out your tongue with your exhale for a lion's breath. Trying to touch the tip of your tongue to the bottom of your chin. Good. All right, release your legs long. Find your way into your Savasana, please. Spill your toes out, so that there's this receptivity across your feet, allowing the hips to swing more wide. Drape your arms to your sides, palms face up. Close your eyes so that you are able to be in this pose fully. Okay. Here in Savasana, it's also called corpse pose, meaning to die to the past and die to the future so that you are here present in this moment. Okay, this is the only moment that you are truly living in because it is where you are breathing. Thank you so much for such a beautiful practice. The energy that you brought to your mat inside of your home, swirling around in your body. If this practice is something that sparks a light inside of you that you are quite curious about and maybe even uncertain about what it is, we have our teacher training. It's offered online. I know that a lot of things are really uncertain right now. You can find a really good community through us. Come back when that spark begins to fade. We offer classes. We're going to be offering even more to come. Good. And then you all know Yoga to the People has always been, is, and always will be donation-based. And it's because of the generosity of each and every one of you. Whether the generosity lives within $1 or 10 or 15, or maybe it lives within your presence when you keep showing up to your mat. Okay, either one. If you're able to donate, you can go to our website and donate there, but it really is just to support this community so that each person can practice. We'll end our class with a quote and a collective breath. Tonight's quote is from Pema Chodron. We think that the point is to pass the test or overcome the problem. But the truth is that things don't really get solved. They come together and they fall apart. Then they come together again and fall apart again. It's just like that. The healing comes from letting there be room for all of this to happen. Room for grief, for relief, for misery, for joy. Empty your lungs one last time as a group. Big full breath in. Hold it when you're full. And exhale. You're welcome to stay in your Savasana as long as you like. If you feel ready to move, you can roll your body to one side. Slowly press yourself up into a seated position. Either cross-legged or hips to heels, whatever feels comfortable. Nice. Okay, and then before we go, if you enjoyed this practice, if it's something that you would like to be a part of again, share on your social media. Thank you so much for practicing with me. So good to see familiar faces and new ones. I hope that you join us again sometime. We've got our 11 a.m.s and we also have the 7 p.m.s and there'll be more to come.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, guys.
Love you.
Thanks, Amy.
Bye. Thank you. Nice to see you guys.
Thank you, Amy.
Miss your yoga.
Thanks, Melanie.
Hi, Amy. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
May was there too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Ange.
Thank you.
Bye, Amy. You can hear Alexa in the
Hi,
background.
How do I?
Oh, go sit down, Haven.
Awesome.
Hi.
Thanks, guys.
Can you see them now?
Bye.
Yeah, I can
Hey,
see you.
Lexon, sit your little butt down. Thanks, Amy. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Happy birthday, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Amy. It was
Yes,
awesome.
thank you. Yeah, I'm glad that you came.
Me too. Thank you.
Good. Bye. Bye. I will. All right, bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
What do you do?